Alright, so I'm going to do another product review on the COCO COIR. This is a different brand. I didn't know I had this cube left over. I had it in the back. And this is the brand I normally buy. I like to buy this COCO COIR because, for one, the bricks are always bigger, thicker, and they're always heavier. They tell you 11 pounds, you're getting 11 plus pounds. So, and that's in its dry compressed weight. So I like using this particular brand, though I have had issues. If you try to plant it directly, the plants tend to yellow off and die, and that's because of nutrient deficiencies, plus it may have a little salt in it, and that is going to cause you problems. So what I do is I take my COCO COIR and I put it in here, I expand it, and then once it's fully expanded, I stuff the cups, my wicking cups, and then from there I rinse them out, you know, a couple times, and that's all I use this for, is wicking cups. So I'm not using it in my soil. Like if I do this, if I make this whole thing and all my wicking cups are made and I have like a half a brick's worth left, yeah, then I'll throw it into the soil and mix it. I'll pre-rinse it a couple times, make sure to get any of the salt out of it and pre-rinse it. But I have noticed in here sometimes you get little pebbles and rocks and little things like that. If you sift it out, you know, you expand it and then kind of run it through a screen, you'll end up with little pebbles and rocks sometimes, but it's not a big deal. You don't get a lot of it. Also, too, the fiber as opposed to the coir, you get an even mix of coir and fiber. In this brick, I'm going to get more coir. Fiber is the stringy stuff, but I'm going to get more coir than fiber out of this brick than the last one I showed you a video on. So again, this is the brand. All right, Kempf, that's the one I use. You get a good price on it. I buy these on Amazon. I usually buy like 5 or 6 bricks at a time when I buy them, and I get a good deal on them. I get the free shipping and everything else, and I'll leave links in the description. You can check it out from there, but this is the brand that I like to use. But again, if you're going to use it for a mix in your potting soil, I recommend you rinse it. I'm not using it for a mix. I'm using it for wicking cups, and the water will generally drain down and wash those wicking cups out anyway, and that's good enough for me. All right, so let's open this up and put it in the pail and expand it and see how long it takes to expand as opposed to the last one I did. So I'll be right back. Okay, so that is the label again. Just show you what it looks like really close. That's the label. That is the brand. That's all the little details, and it's very well packed too. When you order this brand, it comes with a cellophane wrapping, the original wrapping, and then they wrap it in another plastic bag that's very industrial strong, and it's double wrapped so you don't get any rips along the way or anything like that. So they really do a good job. So let me just move that out of the way, and let's water this down. Let's see how this expands as opposed to that last one I did. Now I'm just wetting it right now. I'm just letting it get around there. Well, you can see immediately it's already beginning to expand. See how down on the bottom she's fluffing right up? And I usually go with this thing, I usually go about halfway. I don't care if it's extra water in it, it doesn't matter to me. Because like I say, I'm just stuffing wicking cups with it. And so really all you got to do is just fill the bottom of it up, and it'll just soak that water up. Watch how fat this thing gets. Now, of course, eventually you're going to have to, break it up with a shovel or whatnot. It helps get to the center of it. I mean, you can leave it here and come back in an hour or two, and you could do that too. I just like to, it'll soak this whole thing right up, actually. Soaks up a lot of water, believe me. There's like no water running down the side. It's soaking that water right up through the middle. As I'm filling this container, it's, you know, it's soaking up the water. All right, so what I'll do is, you can see how much it expanded already. Now that last one I did, that last review I did in that other one, that thing was sitting there for a while. It didn't even move. You can see it already. See how it's cracking and filling up? It's expanding. That's what it's supposed to do. So we're going to leave this. I'll come back in a little bit. We'll check it, and I'll show you what it roughly looks like in about 15 minutes or something like that. All right, so I'll be right back. Okay, so it's been about 5 minutes, and you can see how much it expanded already, but it literally soaked all that water out of here, so I need to add more water to get it to expand to get more water again. It soaked all that water. But as you can see, this is the way COCO COIR should expand. It shouldn't have did what that last brick did, just literally sat there, didn't do anything. So, like I say, I don't mind if I put extra water in it because I'm just using it for wicking cups, and that's alright. It'll actually it'll soak all this water up. Eventually, because it might expand on the bottom, but the very top stays dry. So until you get the water up nice and high like that, and then once it stops soaking up the water, and then you know that it's done expanding, you can break it up with a shovel. Now if you put too much water in it, don't worry about it. You can drain the water off. Not a big deal. But you could see the water going down right away. If you look at the edge, see how it's the level is suddenly dropping. Not as fast. It was very dramatic before. I should have filmed it. But it's going to keep going down because it's going to keep soaking up that water. All right, so I'll bring you back in once this is done, and then we'll look at it. We'll try to break it up a little bit. We'll see what it looks like. All right, be right back. All right, so it's been about 15 minutes or so, and you can see that it's fully expanded out, pretty much all the way through. There might be one or two small chunks, like in here, it's still dry a little bit, but that's it. Everything else I checked it, and it's pretty much all swelled up, expanded, and good to go. So at this point, I can use it now for my wicking cups and whatnot, and that's it. So my take on this product is that it's a good product, but you got to rinse it. And I would rinse any of the COCO COIRs you get. There's very few brands that are actually pre-rinsed. They'll tell you it's pre-rinsed. Like CocoTek is one of the brands that I would recommend buying. You're going to pay a good $1 for it, but it's pre-rinsed. And I think there's even a brand it's pre-inoculated with like nutrients, so when you plant it, you're not going to get that yellow effect. If I see it in the Amazon links, I'll link you to it. But I just want to show you like some of the stuff you will find in here, like, you know, like there's little pebbles in here and little bits of sand, a little bit you'll see. I'm not sure where the sand comes from, you know. There's like something right there. There's a little bit, you can feel the sand in there a little bit, you know. That's okay though. I don't really mind that. It's not going to hurt anything. Sand's actually good for your soil. It's just when you buy COCO COIR, you want to get mostly COCO COIR. For example, when I talk about COCO COIR and then Coco Fiber, you see with this right here, this little nest, this little thing of fibers, that's Coco Fiber. This isn't what you want to be paying for, okay? They usually remove quite a bit of it, but some of the companies just kind of grind it all into it, and you end up with these little nests of cocoa fiber. But this company tends to remove, you know, the larger chunks of it. A little fiber mixed in it is good, but mostly what you want is this stuff that looks like coffee grounds. You see how it's all breaking up like that? That's what you want when you buy COCO COIR, because that is COCO COIR. The stuff that breaks up is COCO COIR. This is the cocoa fiber. You don't really want this. Now this does have its own uses. If you like to grow air plants and you like to grow things, odd things like that, you know, like air plants, I'm trying to think, there's other plants that like orchids and stuff like that. You would want something that's more cocoa fiber than COCO COIR. In fact, you'd want to try to remove some of the COCO COIR from the fiber and just use the fiber for your planting, because they don't like a lot of water and stuff like that. So I'm not an expert on orchids and stuff like that, so you would have to talk to somebody who is. But I just know that you would use that kind of stuff for that. But that's it. That's a quick review on this particular brand called Kempf COCO COIR. And like I say, I'll leave links in the description. I'll leave links for a bunch of brands that I like to use. This is one of the ones that I usually buy in bulk because I get a good value for my dollar. The results are very predictable. So this is the main one that I like to use. But CocoTek is much more expensive, but a really, really good brand to use. If you really want to go all the way, then you would buy something like CocoTek. But this is the most cost-effective brand that I can get that gives me a good result when I work with it. All right? So hope you liked this video. Like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. Take care.